Well, I can tell you it was cold this morning at 5:15 when I was up and on my way to the barn. We had a lot to do this morning. I wanted to get it all out of the way. Obviously, I'm up against the crunch right now because it looks like I'm going to Ohio on Wednesday. Wednesday after we train some horses here. So I have to call my man Steve to see if we can get us some training times here early Wednesday morning. So let's start with last night. Last night, obviously, it wasn't funny, but today's a third qualifying day. A lot of droopy lips today from a lot of stables. We had made our own, I guess. Droopy lips mean maybe the horse isn't that good. I think the horses we went with today, what you saw is what you get. The only surprise of the day, I think Tipsy and Dixie clearly doesn't love to be on the front end. It was funny, the track just didn't seem fast today. I shouldn't say that. Some of the qualifiers went faster later on, maybe because it's 28 degrees now, and it was somewhere around 18 or 19, I guess, at 9 or 10 o'clock. That could have been it. Or maybe the horses were just flat themselves. Tipsy and Dixie was okay, but Tanzanite Tricks was very good. I was worried that Tanzanite Tricks was going to be no good on the front, so I looped back out around him. I hadn't gone with Tipsy in a while, and Shep had put her on the front last week in with some good fillies, so I'm thinking I'll loop over to the front, half in 2, mile in 2 minutes. Another good trip for Tipsy and Dixie. But she went to sleep on the front end, and Tanzanite Tricks, geez, God love her. I didn't think she was that good. I liked her, but to say that she was going to qualify in 2-1 or 2-2 was hopeful, but to do it the right way, like she did today, was impressive. I was very, very happy with her. I know James was also. Tanzanite Tricks was good. Tipsy and Dixie, as I said, I looked down under the wire. We still got heavier trotting shoes on her. Gee, she's got such a fluid gait. She can probably do with a much lighter shoe on. She's got a 5/8 trotting shoe on now. A 9/16 probably at least to start, if not down into even a pacing shoe, a full sweat shoe or something. But Tipsy and Dixie was good. Tanzanite Tricks was good. Actually, now that I look at it, we won the first 3 qualifiers today. Were we welcome? 2 minutes and a fifth, last quarter 28 and a bit, but looked good doing it. If I had any critique, it would be her gait. She seemed to have a longer, loafier gait this week. Now we took the flip-flops off of her that we put on her 3 weeks ago, and I do believe she probably doesn't need them. But man, oh man, I didn't like that. I didn't love the way she was trotting up front. Now, I haven't talked to Mario other than to send him a message saying, did we take the flip-flops off? I wasn't positive we did. He said yes. I said, gee, she kind of a big sprawly gait today. It could have been a million things. Could have been she was shod close to the qualifier. It could have been that, she wasn't as good on the front end. It could have been that, she's a green filly. It could have been she was slipping a little bit, but she had flip-flops on last week, so you'd think if she was going to slip, it would be last week also. So I was happy with where we welcome, though. 2 minutes and a fifth, last quarter 28 and a bit is a good qualifier, and if Mario's happy with her, I certainly am happy with her also. Second qualifier, a huge surprise. This filly has shown, she doesn't have as much work as the other horses. She doesn't have a lot of the things going for her that some of the other horses do, but man, oh man, she just gets it done. I didn't want to put her on the front last week. I could see she wandered quite a bit and was very green in the mile. I went around the horse in the 2-hole. She trots the last turn good, and you got to watch her down the lane. She wanders. She's just touching and learning how to trot quick. She's stronger than her body will allow her to go, if that makes sense to you. If she trotted cleanly and smoothly, she would be a very, very nice horse. And it's not that she's not, but she has her shortcomings also. She interferes a little bit. She chaps at her jacks up high. Once in a while, you'll see her touch a knee. But she is a bulldog. No mercy. I love when the horses have no mercy. She cleared to the front. I tapped her on the tail, and it was gone. Game on for the filly, and she was very, very good. Not a huge mile, but looking at Tipsy and Dixie, Tanzanite Tricks, and More We Welcome, 2, 2, and 4 off a half and 4 almost. Last half in 58 and a bit, last quarter in 30 seconds was impressive. Thing though that I like the most about her, she's going to get around a half-mile track even better than here. Trots the turns very good. Straightaways, you got to let her set herself up. For those of you out there that have driven horses or listen to me talk about it, sometimes horses switch their leads coming out of the turns, and you'll see a horse make a break going in or coming out of the turns, and that's that transition zone, so to speak. And Tipsy and Dixie's, she needs a wide berth. She's a dump truck in a little horse's body. But very, very fast filly. I'm pretty happy with her. Fourth set, we come out. I didn't know what to think of Miss Meringue. She's really caught me off guard 2 weeks in a row. You know, she made a break on Jason Ryan. I said she touched the gate, and then she made a break and ripped the shoe off. She almost ripped that shoe off again today. I saw it was loose when we came in. I have to maybe look into that. So Miss Meringue, we went out of there. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what the speeds are that you have to go for a 2-year-old, but we're going to be over the half in 104 in a bit if I don't move. And I didn't want to tempt fate, so I let her roll over to the front. Now she kind of got lost on the front end. Not quite a front end type filly. She'll get you to the front, but you kind of got to start her up after that. And I did, you know, it was as I said, the miles weren't fast the early part of the program, and it was quite windy coming out of the turn. I get over the half in 104, 1 mile in 2-3-1. Last half 59-1. Last quarter in 30-1, a little bit into the wind, as I said. I was happy with her. I would like to see her finish it off in 2-2 and a piece, so right. But nevertheless, qualified and looked pretty good doing it. Horse that didn't look pretty good was Girls with Swirls. She run on James. He only went a slow mile, so we actually went another mile with her. I went a mile and 2.6 with her afterwards. The problem I had with the 2.6 was she wanders all over the track. At first, we thought it was her being green. I'm not so sure she's getting her air as good as she could. When the vet scoped her last week, he said that little immaturity is how he kind of put it in the throat area. So we're looking at a number of things. 3 things that come to mind. Do we turn her out? Do we get some vet work done on her? Which I don't know what they would do. I hesitated injecting horses' pallets when they're 2, and there was some mucus and pimples prevalent. So I'm leaning towards probably giving her some time off. This is an Angus Hall filly. She's a big filly. I would have liked her to show more before we turned her out. If we're going to start, you know, planting our flag there, so to speak, and saying, yes, this is a stable horse, this is a horse that we're going to keep, turn out, train back down, and race, I'd like to see a little bit more than 2.6, but she is a good-looking filly, and she clearly does have allergies and, as I said, a little bit of immature stuff in her throat. So might be time to turn her out. At the same time, I don't think it's worth rushing to sell her yet. So that's something I'll talk to with our partners on Girls with Swirls. But today's trip obviously showed her greenness and her immaturity at the gate, and then when I trained her after, it just didn't seem comfortable on the track. So that was kind of one of our valleys amongst some peaks today. Momo was good, as somebody noted. She did get a little steppy down the lane. We opted for a line pole instead of a head pole today. She was getting in a little bit. Need to maybe touch her up a little vet work before we bring her to Ohio. But 59 last quarter and 28-2 last half, 57-1. Certainly nothing to sneeze at. Cut the line 2 minutes. Somebody said, well, she's way back. That's all she was ready to go. 2 minutes was what we were planning on going with her this week. I said that last week when we trained her. She went a mile in 2 minutes. Another filly that's on the bubble, though, as far as immaturity goes. Maybe we'll race her. I saw that they have the Prospect Series coming up in Dresden. You know, we have Sunshine in May, Cut the Line. I think there's one other pacing Colt. Brilliant Corners. Maybe those types of things. So we have some horses that might fill a trailer up. It might be worth taking Cut the Line down to Dresden. Will she get around Dresden good? I don't know. I can't say yes. I can't say no. I'll talk to Mario about that. Broadway Roll come out, went a decent mile. She wasn't quite as good as she was the other day. When you look at her, she's still got a lot of winter hair on her. It's very surprising. I think what we're going to do is put a blanket on her and start her on some iron and some vitamins. Get her pumped up a little bit. Really just looked at a nice filly for this year. If she doesn't even go to New York, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I know that Pete and I had talked the other day on the phone about the Landmark Series. I see they moved those back to Labor Day weekend. So no rush with Broadway Roll. She might be another filly, although she's not an Ontario bred. They do have a maiden written for the day in Dresden. It might be nice to get a race into her also. So options there with Sunshine Roll, or with Broadway Roll in the last qualifier, Sunshine in May. We got her qualified 2-2 last half in 59 last quarter and 29 and 4. She was good. She was as good as she can be. This little tiny filly, I would suspect Dresden would be a place for her also next week. So the Prospect Series is like a third tier of the OSS. You have the Gold, the Grassroots, and now the Prospect. Goes for $6,500, which is right around maiden, your overnight maiden purse structure. So it's not horrible. If we have 3 or 4 on a truck, it might be worth going. So back to last night. I'd start off with last night. We had 2 horses racing. One was Northern Blizzard. I looked at the program. I said, geez, James and I talked about it. I said, Blizzard's really only ready to go 59 2 minutes. And I know Blake really liked his colt. There was some speed in there, and I had the 9-hole. It seems like all we can draw lately is 8 and 9, and we had the outside again. So I looked left leaving. I'm thinking to myself, these are baby trotters. Somebody's going to run, right? Somebody will make a break. Nope. Nobody did. I looked left, pretty near everybody's up in a position. I don't want to... The biggest thing with Northern Blizzard is we got to teach the horses, too. I might joke about James being... I made a joke last night when I sent out a note and said, I channeled my inner James and took him to last. But realistically speaking, you do have to teach the horses. He learns nothing if we gun him out of there, and he wasn't ready to go in 57. So you know how that story would have ended. I got away. I didn't even want to let him accelerate into the stretch coming out of the gate. I saw that Sylvain's horse was pacey, and I said, geez, I just don't know what he'll be like. If I give him his head and let him trot forward, is he going to be too grabby in the first turn to make a mistake? You know what? Just err on the side of caution. Drop him in behind Sylvain. Sylvain kind of drugged me out of the race, and then in turn ended up making a break. Northern Blizzard trotted the last half in 56 and 4. Last quarter in 28 and 4, 28 and 3, a mile and 2 minutes flat. Really, it's kind of what he was ready to go, right? You can only ask him to do so much. So mathematically, I was happy with him. Obviously, I would have loved to see what would have happened had we had the 3-hole or something of that nature. I would have loved to see what would have happened then. But again, you got to play the hand you're dealt, and Northern Blizzard, although he finished 6th, he raced really well, sets him up really well, doesn't really answer a lot of the questions as far as grassroots or gold, but when it comes to honest trotters with speed, I think I'll probably opt for the gold with him. I'll talk to James about it. I mean, James will be the one driving him, so I'll talk to James about it and see what he thinks. But as of right now, I would suspect gold for him, but that may change. And then we had Johan. Man, oh man, this game will beat you up when you're down. Like there's no forgiving, there's no helping you up when you're down. He made that break last night with the broken martingale, last week with the broken martingale. I put a tighter martingale on him last night. I know what his problem is. He can get a little hot, and we wear a snake cord on him. He's worn it forever, since he was, since the day he came in the barn. And he doesn't like it. Now, there's different kinds of snake cords. There's rope ones, there's wire ones, there's rubber ones. Now, obviously, the less severity, the more he's going to get grabby, goes without saying. So we've always worn the wire one on him. He's throwing his head, but he's also a little finicky to the point where if you put that martingale on too tight, he might wreck something. So I thought he was hung up well. But he went into the first turn last night, and he left a little mark on his left hind pasture, and I don't know whether he hit it and made a break. He certainly felt like he hit it and made a break, but he did throw his head. So he's been going 4 to 5 weeks now. I think we'll probably do a little vet work on him, give him the week off, and try to cool down. I mean, I was obviously pissed off. He's squandering money now. Like, I'll give you a pass last week because that was my fault. But last night, there was no need for that at all, really. So we'll give him a week off, and James can drive him. If it looks like, for whatever reason, they're not going to get along or they're not going to have a good relationship together, we can bring him down to Pennsylvania and race him in the non-winners of 1, 2, and 3 there. There should be lots of room for him there. I mean, there's no denying the horse's speed. And, obviously, for the most part, I'm talking to my partner Steve right now on the horse. But there's no denying his speed. He's sound. He looks good. Touch him up a little bit with some vet work, and then give him the week off. We'll race him the following week. I guess turn the page and bite your lip and say, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So we're on to tonight. Turn the page best I can. Obviously, it bothers me to no end when things don't go well. Especially, one of our clients had said, geez, you're kind of in a funk right now. Well, yeah, but I can guarantee you there's always a correlation between driving long shots and being in a funk. There's always going to be that correlation. And we're trying to get horses raced in different spots. And when it comes to a horse like Trafalgar last week, I don't think I did my best work. But we'll rectify that tonight, hopefully. But for the most part, when you're driving horses that are 8 and 10 to 1, it's tough to get your game on, right? Johan would have been a nice victory last night. Had he got it done, probably would have brought me around. But then nothing like a good dose of work to bring you around. And up early this morning, James and I were at the track early. Oh, I talked about the horse that I didn't talk about the horse that trained. We trained White Tiger. I trained White Tiger yesterday in 2 minutes, you know that. We trained Cavill, Hanover, and Welland-Down today in 57-1. Where are you going? 57-1 off a half in off a half of a minute and a bit, so they were smoking pretty good on the end of it. I did get upwind with Welland-Down. She never put a step in. She never offered to run. Seemed a little flat though. So we're gonna run some fluids into some horses. It's just too damn hot right now. It's 28 degrees. So we'll run some fluids into all of them before they ship to Ohio, but I'm gonna run some fluids into her and GW Chrome today also. And then for those of you wondering, geez, is I'm a Lovely Lady gonna be good for her stake race next week? James trained her by herself this morning. 2-1 last quarter and 27 in a piece. Very, very good. He said she was push button. So, trying to get everything polished up for Ohio, trying to get everything polished up in the barn, because when I leave, I can't come back until they open up the border, which at the earliest will be July 21st. So, obviously that sucks for me. I'm going to be away from my family, but at the same time, want to get things going, keep things going in Ohio, get things going in Pennsylvania, and then focus on a couple of the Indiana breds also, probably be coming with us. And what else? I guess that's about it. Just still a lot of balloons up in the air. I got a lot done the last 3 days as far as putting things in place and having things ready for what we're going to be doing over the next 3-4 weeks. The next point of order, the next piece of business is looking at, are there horses in the barn that maybe don't need to be in the barn? I think you guys know by now we've had 3 qualifiers of the 2-year-olds. We've had some 3-year-olds racing. I think that both the horses in Pennsylvania, All Played Alone and Forged in Fire, are looking at a shorter stay in the stable than maybe we thought before. There are other horses on that list, somewhere between 6 and 10 horses. So over the next 48, 72 hours, we're going to compile a list and maybe put them all on OnGate or the new website, or the new horse buying app, Hoofbid. But probably should move those horses along. If they're not going to be good for us, there's no point pretending they are, or hoping they are, or just saying we'll give them more time or turn them out. If they're just lacking the overall ability, then we really have to take a serious look at that and say, okay, who doesn't need to be here? The good news is there's not a lot of them. The bad news is there is some. So we'll get to that over the next 48 to 72 hours. There are some other developments and things going on, but I'm going to let them play out over the next day, and then I'll report on them a little more in the future. So for now, this is your qualifying report. We had a good day today. Training report, we had a great day training. Welland-Down trained 57 off a half in a minute and a bit, so last half 56 and a bit, last quarter in 28 and a piece. Cavill, Hanover trained in 57. He was good. He'll likely be into qualify next week and then head to Carmen's. What else? Big Girl, I'm a Lovely Lady, trained good. We had horses training at the farm today. We have horses qualifying tomorrow. We had horses qualifying yesterday. It's not starting to slow down. It'll slow down a bit when I get to Ohio, I guess. So for now, that is it. That's your qualifying report for Friday. I guess we'll have another one for you tomorrow. It looks like it's going to be from a rainy, rainy day. But who knows? Sunny today. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you had a great day, and I hope you're having a great week. Take care.